Runfluencers, are they God's gift to the running community or are they a disease? Well, we're about to find out today with our two guests on show, Mr. Yong and of course our dear friend as well, Mr. Desmond. Round of applause.
Hey, thanks.
The running community has evolved so much over the years, right? Running is the top sport, not just in Singapore but in the region. Specifically in Singapore, it is the most participated sport. The national participation survey in sports actually shows that, even since pre-COVID days, right? But now, post-COVID, it is on the rise and it's trending, right? And a new phenomenon we are seeing these days, outside your typical runners from the running community and high-performance athletes and elite athletes, are runners who actually want to put themselves out there on social media and do a bit of promotion.
Yes.
How would you guys define Runfluencers for you?
I've never thought about it this way. I don't define Runfluencer. It's just that when I see a post or I see a person acting a certain way, I'm like, yep, that's a Runfluencer. But I haven't really sat down and thought, what is the definition of it? Is there an official definition for it? Because it's not Oxford Dictionary word, right? So
yeah, it's not. To be completely honest, I never heard of the term. But in recent times, I've heard it more often. Not so much in terms of Runfluencers, but influencers and content creators being different, right? Influencers could be an elite athlete being an influencer. It could be an everyday person. But generally, it's an individual who has the capacity to influence people into making either a purchase decision, into doing something, or the persuasive power, which technically has nothing to do with your follower count. The other part, of course, would be content creators who focus on doing good pictures or good videos, more so in terms of the quality of the content, but may or may not have high followings, right? Less so about the follower count, but some are basically both. But in this particular context of the Runfluencer term that we're exploring, we're talking about, it's more of talking about people who actually are sort of part of this new phenomenon or trend of that brands and events are working with to promote things because they are perceived to have influence. It could be a high performance athlete, elite athlete. It may or may not be.
So I guess the first criteria that I have in my head when I look at a particular post or a particular Instagram profile, right, is definitely like, hey, is this guy fast? So if he's not,
he's a Runfluencer.
If it's not, there's a higher chance.
John is basically that.
No, there's a higher chance that. Right, but fast is relative. So I'm just saying from my experience, this is how I see things, and maybe this is how other people see things.
Yeah.
So if other people think that, hey, this fella is fast, so okay, no, this guy is not. No, this guy is an elite man.
Okay. If you were to choose one of these three categories, how would you best define yourself?
So for me, I derive joy from content creation, or like basically telling stories, right? That's why SportPlus came about, in the sports scene and all that. I derive joy from running, but more as a hobby on the side and a way of keeping healthy, right? And in this particular area, it became synergistic for me. So along the way, because of that, we happen to work with events and brands. I help them to some degree.
I think I'll raise Desmond's points first. So I think definitely in running, because it's so objective, right?
Yeah.
You're measured. A lot of runners, you're measured by the time you've run.
Yeah.
If your time is good enough, you might get selected for the SEA Games team. You're not good enough, then sorry, you're not good enough. So a lot of a runner's self-worth can actually be, healthily or not, probably not, attached to your marathon PB, for example. Now, I think that's a very elitist way of looking at it. I'm like anyone else, where obviously if a 2:10 marathon runner shows up in the room, I'm more likely to give him the time of day than if a 5-hour marathon runner shows up in the room. I'm probably not going to know who they are. Now, that's unfortunate because, to a certain extent, we all have like physiological limits, right? For example, my physiological limit might be 2:15, it will not be 2:05. Now, Kipchoge's physiological limit is sub 2. So, would I be any less of a human being if I'm pushing myself and trying to get the best out of myself than someone who is like just genetically better gifted in this sport? Probably not. I don't think we want to measure people by by this whole thing of how fast you are. But unfortunately, that's what catches attention. If you're a good runner, and now good is also like very widely defined because I might be good here. If I go to Kenya, I'm not good. So maybe there I'm considered a Runfluencer. Who is this like 2:22 marathon runner, not even faster than our top females, but he's got 50,000 followers over. He's a Runfluencer. Maybe that's my status. There's some people like that who they barely run. They just take photos in running attire, right? And I've worked with a few of these people. Like I know who they are. Sometimes and sometimes some of them are influencers that brands engage because they have a good following. Why do you think brands engage Runfluencers?
I think specific to the Singapore sporting culture, not so much overseas, where we do not have, where athletes, not all the athletes are kings and queens in our society, unfortunately. Overseas, athletes are revered, they are really respected, and
Even
they really,
Indonesia,
by default, you know, so
Vietnam.
in Singapore,
Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand, right? Yeah.
purely based on that fact alone, I think a lot of brands are finding it very hard to market sports-related products because a lot of the athletes by default who are considered the performance athletes may not get them the kind of ROI that they would get overseas. As a result, they would turn more to the other people who, let's say they may not be doing it at elite level, but because they do it on a regular basis and the community kind of knows them, so they're more relatable, right? So that they kind of fill that gap as a result in terms of purchase and being able to influence purchase decisions. I think that's a lot more so. But I want to bring up a topic here, and I think that Yong, you probably mentioned this before at some point. When do Runfluencers actually cross the line? Like, let's say, I think it's one thing to actually share my journey. Like, let's say I'm new to running, right? And I just want to film my journey into running. And get some support from my friends to keep me going, whatever.
Yeah.
But when I actually offer tips on how running should be like, what's the danger of that if I'm not actually someone who's trained or someone who's an actual athlete? And I actually do have an influence on people who may not be runners, who may also want to try out running. Yeah.
Well, I think everyone's free to give advice as they see fit, but at the same time, you also could be wrong. I try and make sure that everything I say, I Google it and I research it to make sure that the science is right. Or sometimes even if the science is right, it doesn't make sense for that particular context. Then you shouldn't do it. For example, double threshold seems to be the new in thing these days. Would you prescribe double threshold to someone who's working in a bank 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.? No, because the poor person doesn't have enough time to recover in between. So you have to adapt training programs, and a lot of it comes with experience, right? But you see, I think in Singapore, we have a very numbers mindset or quantifiable mindset because it's the easy way to measure ROI. We're just talking about ROI.
Yeah.
Now, I think what's less easy to manage and what's more nuanced is the quality of that numbers. Because, for example, if you have an Olympic champion with 50,000 followers and he posts about a shoe versus an influencer with 500,000 followers and she posts about a shoe, who do you think is going to have a better impact in terms of the credibility of the shoe?
Yeah, the Olympian, of course. Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Right? I would think so.
Yeah.
But if a brand were to go purely by numbers, it would never be the Olympian.
They would lose out.
It would be, unfortunately, a lot of that brings time away from social media and like posing for photos and all that kind of stuff that we can easily see that draws a lot of athletes away from what's important, which is recovery, training. Not just physically but mentally as well.
Yeah.
Like meditation, yoga, all that kind of stuff that you can do to keep yourself injury free. And that's why brands look at athletes. Oh, this person does do content. Oh, the influencer does content. That person would take better photos of our product. Let's go to her instead, for example.
So for instance, let's say I'm a particular brand, there's a super shoe, right? They have tried to push.
Yes.
So what's the deal right now, right? Are we gonna give it to the performance athletes, or are we gonna give it to someone who just have eyeballs? So if I could give it to someone who's not particularly fast or anything, but has lots of eyeballs on it, right? So it depends what's ROI. If your ROI is, hey, a lot of people know that this pair of shoes exists, then I'm good, Or does it translate to sales? Does it translate to your branding a little bit? You know what I mean? So if someone carry your top line performance shoes, they in a way they do have to.
It needs to make sense, right? I mean, like you said, if you're getting someone who's not fast to endorse a fast shoe, it becomes of a bit of a mismatch in terms of the product fit.
Unless the plan is for that someone who's not fast to get a fast shoes, then because of that became fast.
Faster.
I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? Sign me up.
What makes you buy a super shoe?
That's the tricky thing now these days because it's so competitive. It's so saturated, right? I mean, it becomes like it's reached a point where everyone is saying that every shoe is good. So how do I tell apart between 2 or 3 super shoes that, let's say, I know are pretty good, but I don't know which one fits me best? adding the credibility of the runner to the brand makes a huge difference.
So,
Yeah.
okay, what makes you buy a super shoe, Desmond? As a 2:48 marathon runner, you are ranked number 5
No longer, I guess.
number
There's
6
too many guys ahead of
in
me.
Singapore. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Our
Dude.
standard is not that high.
Good performances, man.
Yeah, up and
Okay, so
coming,
for me, it's definitely price. Super
Okay.
shoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Because I gotta ask myself questions like, okay, $360. Do I have it be to use this pair to train and then maybe in a fresh pair to race?
Yes.
That's $700.
Yeah.
Alright. So my philosophy is more like the legs over the shoes, you know what I mean? So I have a certain like 85% of my confidence is in my own training and my own legs.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
So I guess it negates the specific type of super shoes.
Yeah,
that
which
they're
is the
supposed to be
right, the right mindset there.
Yeah. So I guess in a way I kind of see them as roughly equal.
Okay.
So what's unequal is the price.
Okay, so from all the reasons I'm hearing, none of you have mentioned I'm buying a super shoe because of a Runfluencer, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that's a good point. I think the next point that we're going to talk about is, I think Runfluencers produce a lot of content for cheap to nothing at all.
Yeah.
Because they enjoy, a lot of these people, especially those that are just starting out, they
Yeah.
enjoy the prestige or the perceived prestige of
Yeah.
being associated with a brand.
Yeah.
Being given free stuff,
Yeah.
it's like a very flattering feeling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it cheapens the market for those who are actually trying to make
It does.
a living.
It does.
Now, what these brands are not careful about is a lot of these numbers are artificially inflated as
Yes.
well. right?
Yes.
Like,
Definitely.
For example, buying followers was
Yes.
a thing. Buying you can even buy likes.
Yes, exactly. That's something that it's actually a taboo thing. But and by now, because it's actually there are a lot of online softwares that actually can expose such practices. I'm quite surprised that there are still people who do it. Right. We do have one more topic actually before we wrap up for today, and that is the topic of the Strava Jockey. I don't know if you guys have been recently reading about an article on CNA.
I'm missing out on a business here. You
Yeah,
also?
man. So you are clued into the Strava Jockey. Basically, it's not so much happening in Singapore, although some people have said that we cannot rule that out in Singapore. But this story was based on Jakarta, Indonesia, right? So it is actually something that's happening quite a bit over there, and that's basically people paying other people to run for them, basically buying your workouts.
Yeah.
And for the best of me, I can't figure out why that makes sense, because you're losing money and you're not getting healthier. So actually, I would like to find out your opinions on this.
I think that's the next frontier for Runfluencers, right? Because we're talking about credibility. So how to bolster credibility? You pay people to run workouts for you, and then I know what I'm talking about. See, like I did 20 times 400 meters in 80 seconds yesterday, or whatever the case might be.
So that's a true story, right? So during the pandemic, where there's no races, right? So basically all the performance guys, they got no place to showcase their capabilities, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I actually know this guy, like in person. I know this guy, dude. Like his easy run is like 4 minutes per K. I'm like, bro.
Yeah,
First of all, I don't believe, right?
2:48 marathon pace, right?
Then I go and so I it was in a group chat somehow. We were in a group chat. Don't ask me what.
You can post
If not, we can identify. Then I said, dude, your easy run 4 minutes per K, yeah? Like they said, he just gave some comment like, no, it's not me, man, it's the shoes. Maybe he got a pair of new super shoes lah.
Yeah, sure.
Then I'm like, dude, but what's your best 10K? You know, what's the best 10K time, you know?
Yeah.
They say, at my peak, 33, 34 minutes, man. So back then he's still in school.
Rubbish.
Then I'm like, also you can win IVP, ah. You know, so I said to him, like, you could be IVP champ, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess for him, he's not on Strava or anything, so his stats cannot be scrutinized.
Okay.
But eventually found out, some people screenshot, you know.
Yeah.
And the elapsed time is like more than double than the actual.
Yeah.
So I realized that for some people, if they are being seen as a certain, capability, it's actually way more important
Yes.
than the benefits they gain from running. You know what I mean? The social recognition lah, the social points that you get.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is legit, man. This guy, that is critical to them.
It's bragging rights of some
Yes,
sort,
exactly.
but more virtual bragging rights, not so much in real life bragging rights.
Even if you don't earn it, So I guess that is a thing.
And like you said, there are people who they can just lie on.
Yeah.
They will just lie. I did this, I did that. I ran 33 minutes for 10K or whatever. Not really. I can run sub 7 minutes 2.4. Like 3 years ago, there was that whole thing. The split looks better, like
It looks nice on Strava.
It looks nice on Strava.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Is it like
so if I'm running 310s on the track,
principles are the same.
Yeah.
you will always beep at, let's say, 302.
Yeah.
So you go off Strava, then it looks like I'm running 302.
Yeah, so
I'm
people
actually
sometimes like,
running
dude, you run 302 for your reps, man, So I guess it's the same principles lah.
Yeah.
Although Strava Jockey is not prevalent in Singapore. I guess a lot of such practices is quite.
Cutting corners,
So
basically.
Strava influencers.
Whatever makes there are actually people who actually put a huge amount of time on Strava and how it looks.
Yeah.
Just maybe like you said, for the credibility and for the
Yeah,
image.
I mean, I don't get it, man. Like Strava, like I follow 0 people on Strava, so I don't see all this bullshit. So I just link it to my watch. That's it. Once in a while, people comment, I'll talk to them. But I think that's where Strava gets dangerous. Right? I think where you are going next, when people start to compare too much into what other people are doing and get kiasu, and then want to run faster because that person is faster than me and he runs, let's say 4:30 per k on easy days. Let's say Jakob Ingebrigtsen runs 4 minutes a k on easy days. So for me to run like him, I need to run 4 minutes per k for easy days. Well, that's not how it works because when he runs 4 minutes per k, his heart rate is, let's say, 110, 120. If your marathon PB is 248, no offense, and you go and run easy run at 4 minutes a k, then you're running your race pace. Your heart rate is not 120, not 110. I don't know what your heart rate will be. Maybe 140. Maybe 150. Yeah, 170 is a bit high. But no, at the same time, you know, Singapore is hot. Your heart rate is going to spike. You know, you cannot force the training. You need to train at what your body is capable of at this point of time, so that it can, step by step, get to where you want to go. But if you always compare, that's when you have a problem. And that's the reason why I leave. Like, if not for this, I would delete Strava. Long story short, don't trust everything you see on Strava. Always take things with a pinch of salt. Just because someone else is running faster than you doesn't mean you have to go and train faster just to improve at your level. And don't forget, everyone is different. Some people respond better to tempos. Some people respond better to high mileage. Some people respond better to low mileage. Some people cannot handle high mileage. You know, so some people respond better to 400. Some people respond better to 2K intervals. And it's not just your body, but psychologically what you enjoy. Because if you hate something and you keep doing it, you might get burned out. This is not to say you only do the things you enjoy, but you know, try and like make it fun and sustainable. Because at the end of the day, if you're not going to win an Olympic gold medal in the sport, what's important?
It's enjoyment,
health,
right?
having fun. Don't go and sacrifice your health and happiness to go and run 2 minutes quicker and have it be a short-term thing. You know,
I want to first thank both of you for joining us for this session today, and I do hope that all our viewers have gleaned some very useful insights. So do leave your comments in the section below about your thoughts about Runfluencers. Where do they sit in the running community? Like, would you buy a pair of shoes just because Runfluencers actually endorse the shoes or the outfit or running program? And should they be giving advice on running coaching? And don't forget to hit up, of course, our guests as well today. Special thanks to them for being a part of this, and we will look forward to seeing all of you very, very soon. Take care, God bless, and see you. Bye.